What's up, guys? I'm back with another video. Joe Flacco has been traded. I don't know which team, but let's just get into it. If it's Broncos, he's kind of happy because he's okay. He's okay. It's just that he's been getting traded to different teams, and if he does, then that's gonna be a big key for the offense. It's a little, not really, but Joe Flacco's okay, but if it's Broncos, I'm gonna be so happy.
Ian, what can you tell us about what the Ravens are going to get in exchange for Flacco?
Traded Joe Flacco to
My understanding is the Baltimore Ravens are getting a mid-round pick, possibly a fourth-rounder in exchange for Joe Flacco, and really not a surprise that the Ravens were going to deal him. We really knew this mid-season and toward the end of the season that it was going to be.
Okay, you don't know how happy I am. Case Keenum was alright also. But Joe Flacco, I would give him 8 out of 10. Case Keenum, when I first saw him, I was like 6 out of 10, but this is 8 out of 10. This guy knows what he's doing.
Lamar Jackson going forward, and the Ravens were going to move on from Flacco either way, either whether they would have to release him or whether they were going to be able to trade him. And it is pretty clear that the Denver Broncos were looking to upgrade at the quarterback position. And they talked to a couple teams before settling on Joe Flacco as their answer. But this is clearly not the end of the story here for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, but Case Keenum is going to retire this year. I'm not sure I think he was going to play for 2 years, but I think he said 1 year. But he is retiring this year. That's what I know.
First of all, they need to do a new deal for Flacco, and that is why Flacco himself had wanted to be involved in these discussions to know where he's going, to work out a new deal with his team, rather than just have the Ravens ship him somewhere, which, they ended up doing. And then there's the situation of what happened. Then there's a question of what actually happens to Case Keenum, guaranteed $7 million this year. Could he stay on as the backup, or do they try to deal him or just release him today? Still a lot of questions going forward for the Denver Broncos, who at the very least are going to have a new starting quarterback for 2019.
How long have these...
If I had a good record, I might say 6-10. I think they might be 6-10. They're not ready yet. I feel like they're still going to be 6-10. They're not going to be like, oh my God, they're going to be like 12-3 or 12-4, or 11-5. I don't know. They're not ready for that. They need a quarterback that's like. But it's fine. Joe Flacco's fine. I know, but he hasn't been to the playoffs with the Ravens. But I'm looking forward to get more wins. Not going to the playoffs. We're not ready for that yet. So.
Talk's been percolating between the Broncos and the Ravens.
My understanding is less than a day, and I know I touched base with people yesterday. There were some things going on. There were some deals that they were trying to figure out where was the quarterback market going to be. And then really last night and early this morning, it really hit its sort of crescendo, and the Broncos and Ravens got together and realized that this deal was possible. It's probably best for both sides. And now for the Ravens.
He might get traded to the Raiders, Bengals, or Browns. But I think he's mostly going to Cleveland.
They move on from a franchise quarterback. They get a lot of cap relief, about $10 million or so, to move on from a quarterback they had already replaced with Lamar Jackson. And then the Denver Broncos now have to figure out how Flacco fits into their salary cap, what they do contract-wise, and how they make any of this work. And by the way, none of these deals can actually be final until the start of the league year.
Now, a lot of people, especially in Denver, have been clamoring for a younger alternative to Case Keenum in Denver there. So how does this affect their draft strategy now?
This could be a sign that Denver doesn't love the quarterbacks in this upcoming draft, and that's actually something that I had heard in the past couple of days, that maybe it's not.
Okay, this is what we need in draft. Our offense is kind of doo-doo. But we got a quarterback. We got 2 decent quarterbacks. Our offense is, I said, doo-doo. We need linemen, wide receivers. We traded Demaryius Thomas. We traded Cody Latimer, I'm not sure, traded to the Giants. Von Miller might go to Cleveland. We need a new kicker, obviously. Brandon McManus he's terrible. He's terrible. Like, we almost beat Texans. We could have won 20-19, but Brandon McManus missed the field goal, of course. We would have finished off 7-9. Yeah, we really need our linemen and we need to get linemen and wide receivers. But it was kind of good that you got it. I'm looking forward to get. We already got running back Philip Lindsay, Royce Freeman. We already got those. All we need is two more things: linemen and wide receivers, and a kicker. That's all. And our defense is okay.
This draft, but maybe next draft, where Denver would end up finding their quarterback of the future. This feels like, kind of like last year, a stopgap quarterback starting situation where maybe either they would take the heir apparent this year or say, you know what, we're just going to wait a year and figure it out afterward. Either way, this is not a long-term solution, clearly, but they think, at least, that they've upgraded at that position.
Ian, there were a lot of teams that were wanting a quarterback this offseason. The Jaguars were wanting a quarterback, for example. Why did this make the most sense for Joe Flacco and for the Broncos?
Well, he's a lot cheaper than Nick Foles would be for Denver, and probably would cost, as far as pick-wise, a little less as well. And, Denver, I know they were interested in Foles. I know that was something that they had at the very least.
If we got Nick Foles, dude, I would have been fine if Joe Flacco went to Jacksonville. If we got Foles, oh my God, that would have been. If Foles goes to Jacksonville, I have nothing to say if Foles goes to Jacksonville.
I've thought about it and done some research on, but the kind of money that he's commanding just didn't seem like Denver was willing to do that. So they decided to go with a more veteran option, but obviously a cheaper option in Flacco. We'll see what kind of deal they end up doing. Still in the books for 3 years with the Ravens, but as far as guaranteed money, I don't believe there's much. So they're going to have to rework that, but at the very least, they looked into Nick Foles. They were interested and settled on Flacco instead.
All right, so now there has been a lot of reaction, of course, from all corners of the league that are starting to trickle in, like this one from Emmanuel Sanders, just with the peeping eye emojis there. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of those reactions there on social media. Joining us right now is NFL Network's James Palmer, who is in Denver now. And James, what is the reaction in Denver to the news that Joe Flacco is heading their way?
Well, this is kind of a name that was getting tossed and turned. Ian and I talked a little yesterday, and about what he said about Nick Foles was similar to what I was hearing, and that the cost of Joe Flacco would be a little bit cheaper. And they weren't happy with what happened on the at the quarterback position, and rightfully so. I talked to some people through the end of the season last year, and the thought was that they were really lacking, in a sense, a leadership on the offensive side of the ball, particularly from the quarterback spot. And if they could go and find that in Joe Flacco, and someone that that they do kind of know a little bit, and as Ian said, it doesn't cost as much as Foles. And you remember they have this, if it is around a mid-round pick, they got that added fourth-round pick in the trade for Demaryius Thomas last year, so they had the picks and kind of the ammo in that sense to go if the compensation was going to be around that point of the round. They did have that extra pick from Demaryius Thomas, so that adds it. But this is kind of in a sense of always what John Elway's looking to do. He's always looking to stay competitive each and every year. Case Keenum was their number one target in free agency. They didn't even make a play at Kirk Cousins a year ago, and now moving to
Case Keenum was good. But I think they're gonna be like, I think it's gonna be Cody Kessler and like Blake Bortles. They're gonna be like fighting. Like who's gonna be the starting quarterback? Of course. Not Blake Bortles. Joe Flacco. They're gonna be like Joe Flacco and Case Keenum will be fighting who's gonna be the starting quarterback. I think like you'll see a lot in the games probably.
to Joe Flacco looks that they want to keep going towards staying competitive with a defense and some talent that they believe can still keep them in a division that got better with Patrick Mahomes and company. But hopefully, in terms of, he hates to use the word rebuild, and it's something that John Elway likes to avoid.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's trying to stay the
You need
course
to
until they can
rebuild.
find a quarterback for a long-term period.
And so, yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. Joe Flacco going to Denver. Let's go win a playoffs, or at least go to the playoffs. Go Broncos.